Hi guys, it's Daniela again and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm bringing you a review on the Hourglass Stick Foundation alongside the new powder and the primer. I think it's the number 28 primer. And if you're excited, please continue watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started. So as you know, I bought the Hourglass Stick Foundation a while ago and it came in this little box. I've wanted to do this for ages and I just haven't. So with this whole box, I got a sample of their new powder and I got the number 28 primer. So what I'm going to do is half of my face with the number 8 primer and then the other half with no primer at all. So let's get started. It smells like very calming. I don't know if you can tell, but it's really like shiny. Okay, so this primer is called the Hourglass Primer Serum and it's number 28. It's a soft, silky, lightweight texture. Helps to soften the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles without leaving behind any residue or greasiness. I don't know if I agree with that because my face definitely feels greasy. It contains vitamin A, B5, C and E. It contains conditioning plant oils, absorbs quickly. I'm not sure about that either. Okay, so this side has got the primer on. This side has nothing on, but I've moisturized obviously. So let's go in with the foundation. So let's get some facts about the foundation. So the foundation is called the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Finish Foundation Stick. I got the shade Warm Ivory. It's meant to last up to 12 hours. You can use this for contouring and highlighting. Concealer foundation powder in one application. Waterproof formula for long-lasting flawless finish. Blends effortlessly. So this is what the component looks like. Very sleek, quite heavy as well. And this is the colour. So I think it might be too dark for me because I've used this once before because I needed to darken out a foundation and I didn't have anything else on me, so I used this. And then blend this with a beauty blender. They say that you should use a brush with this foundation, but I can use a brush on this side. So that's blended out really quite well. Definitely not full coverage on the first go. As you can see, can still see some of my acne scarring, so I'm just going to go in a little bit more. And I forgot to tell you, this foundation costs you £42. I did get it for cheaper because it was on a deal. The original price is £42, which I think is very expensive for a foundation, especially a stick foundation, because stick foundations will run out quickly, I think, especially because this isn't full coverage on the first few goes, so you'd have to build it up. Okay, so I like this coverage so far. So now I'm going to do this side of my face. I completely forgot to bring a brush to my filming table. Do you know what? It's going to be a beauty blender thing. I feel like this is better coverage on this side of the face, just from first go. Obviously, Beauty Blender does soak up some of the coverage and some of the foundation. I do like using a Beauty Blender for foundations. I do sometimes use a brush for foundations, but it depends on the foundation. Okay, so this side I feel looks a lot more flawless and a lot more covered than this side. I'm going to go in with a second layer on this side, and that's all I'm going to do because I don't really need a lot on my forehead. Completely forgot that I have not colour corrected, so that's great. I usually colour correct. So far they both look quite dewy. I am starting to notice that it's starting to settle into fine lines here and on my forehead. This side, as I said before, I feel like has less coverage than this side, and I've gone in with 2 layers on both sides, but so far it's okay. So now I'm just going to do my concealer. So my concealer blended on it really well, didn't have a problem with blending. Okay, so now I'm going to set my under eye with this powder. I did get it as a sample and it's called the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. And this is what the sample looks like, with a little H inside that you probably can't see. I haven't tried this just because I've been waiting to use this in this video. I've heard really good things about this, so let's see. So far, it's okay. And then I'm setting my smile lines. So with whatever's left on my lid and my beauty blender, I just go and set the rest of my makeup a little bit. So I've tried all 3 products and so far I'm not really hating anything. I'm not overly loving anything either. Like, the powder's okay. The serum, I'm not too sure about the serum, if I'm honest, just because it felt quite like greasy for quite a while. I feel like my foundation does look pretty full coverage now, especially now that I've like concealed. The colour is not actually that bad of a match. I thought it was a lot darker than me, but it's actually not. So far it's alright. I've not got any strong opinions on it right now. I don't love or hate it. I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's alright. So what I'm actually going to do is go off camera, do the rest of my makeup, and in a couple hours I will come and give you an update. It is now 4:10, so I put this on about 4 o'clock. So yeah guys, I will be back in a couple hours with a little update on how I feel about the foundation. So I'll see you in a bit. Bye guys. Hi guys, so as you can see I'm back and it is 7:24 as you can see. I know this isn't really a long wear test, but I really can't do any more. I need to have dinner, have a shower and get ready for work. So unfortunately it's only a 3.5 hour wear test, but for me a 3.5 hour wear test, I can kind of see what I think. Okay, so my opinion so far on the foundation, I'm gonna get a mirror and just look close. So 2 layers of the foundation is definitely enough coverage. You can still see some acne peeking through, but with the rest of my makeup on, it looks like a full coverage foundation. I do have to say it is settled quite drastically into any creases that I have in my smile lines and my forehead. I can't really tell a difference between like no primer and primer, if I'm honest. Both sides have creased, both sides are looking a little bit more dewy. I'm not sure if this will hold back your like oils. I'd say this finish is like a natural matte. It's not too dewy, it's not overly matte, it's kind of in between, so like a semi-matte satin type finish. I think they actually claim that it's a satin matte finish, but I will look it up and correct myself when I'm editing. But so far, I don't know, I'm not really loving it, I'm not hating it. I'm kind of very in between. If I'm honest, I'm slightly disappointed just because I've heard so much hype about this foundation that I thought this one was going to be like the best foundation I've ever tried. Don't get me wrong, most foundations do crease on me, but I feel like this one has creased the most out of all the foundations that I've recently tried, because it's definitely up in my smile lines. Like, there's no way about it, and I did set it. You definitely can blend out any creases. I just attempted to blend out mine and it seemed to work. I don't really know how I feel about this foundation. I can't recommend it because I've worn it for 3.5 hours and I'm really indecisive about how I feel. Usually at this point, I can kind of see if I will wear a foundation again, if I need to do something different with a foundation. For example, use a primer or no primer, don't set it or set it. But I feel like with this one, I really don't know what I think. I don't know. This review is kind of crap because I don't know how I feel. That's weird. I usually know how I feel by the time that I'm doing this part of the video. I usually kind of know like whether I like something, I don't like it, or I'm recommending it or not recommending it. For £42, I don't know if this is worth it. I feel like this has been so overly hyped up that my expectations were really high and they're kind of not being met. And I can't say no, it's not worth all the hype it's had because I've not worn it too much. But for all the hype it's had, I feel like this foundation was going to be like the game changer, the foundation that I'm always going to buy and always want to use because it's so good, even though it's expensive. And I don't know. I bought this with my own money, so like, if I don't like it, I spent £37 on something that I don't really like. But I'm not saying that I don't like it, I'm not saying that I do like it, I don't know how I feel about it. How weird is that? Like, I never have that issue with a foundation. This is so crap, because like, I don't know how to finish off this video. I don't recommend it, but I also don't recommend it, but I don't recommend it. So, does that make any sense? Probably not. I generally think this is a foundation that I'm going to have to wear a couple of times and give you an update in a future video because I really don't know how I feel about it right now. The primer, I'm not too keen on the primer if I'm honest. it seemed a bit too greasy for me. I'm not sure how I feel about this primer. It is a sample, so it's not too bad. I will continue to wear it and see how I like it with my other foundations. If I don't like it, I will let you know, possibly, if I remember. Now about the Hourglass powder, I don't really know what to say. It did set my eyes. They haven't creased. I don't know about flashback yet, but I will try and put that in when I'm editing, if it has flashback or not. It did give a little bit of dewiness under my eyes and where I put it. It's not overly matte, which I appreciate. I also just noticed, looking closely at my nose, that the foundation is starting to move around. Whether that's because of the powder, the serum, or something else that I put on top, I don't know, but I will have to look into that and investigate further. As of right now, this is probably my favourite product of the three. This powder has been quite hyped up recently, and it's alright, it's a powder. I don't know what to say to you. Does it have flashback? I don't know, because I haven't checked. But I do like how it gives a little bit of dewiness and glowiness. I do like that. I think the most disappointing product for me at this moment in time is the foundation, just because of how high my expectations were with it, and because every YouTuber swears by it or has sworn by it. But it's not technically the foundation's fault, it's more my fault for having such high expectations. All those bloody YouTubers have hyped up this foundation so much that now my expectations were here and it's kind of just gone down a little bit. Do YouTubers lie? Who knows? I don't know. As I said, this is all first impressions, so like, take it with a pinch of salt. My opinions are my opinions, your opinions are yours. We are individuals that are allowed to have our opinions, and that is great. So with saying that, this is the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up and some comments down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.